morning, kindergartners. So this is our third day that we're learning about bees. And this book that we're going to read today is a nonfiction book, and it says Bees and Wasps. So this book is full of lots of information about both bees and wasps. But today we're only going to read about the bees. So I'm going to be skipping some pages. So if I skip a page, it's not because Miss Sherry doesn't want to read it to you. It's because it's about wasps, so we're going to skip it. So this book is a book that has lots of real pictures in it. Over here we see a table of content, and the table of contents tells us what's going to be in the book. So we're going to read about hairy insects. We're going to read about honeymakers sending messages. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Right over here, we see a nice picture of a bee, and we see the little hair all over this bee close up. Hairy insects. Bees and wasps are types of insects. Wasps have thin, smooth bodies and legs, but bees are fatter and furrier. This is a bumblebee. It has lots of fuzzy hairs on its legs and body that keep it warm. Body parts. Bees and wasps have some parts of their bodies that are the same. All bees and wasps have 6 legs. At the end of each leg is a tiny claw that's good for gripping. They have 2 feelers on their head that they use to smell and touch. Most bees and wasps have 2 pairs of wings. One pair of wings is smaller than the other. Not all bees and wasps are black and yellow. Some have brown, red, blue, or even green bodies. Fast flyers. Most bees and wasps can fly. Before a bee flies, it warms itself by resting in the sun or shaking its body. If a bumblebee gets wet, it can't fly. It has to wait until it's dry again. Bumblebees have big round bodies, but their wings are very small. They have to beat their wings very quickly so they can fly. This is a red-tailed bumblebee. It beats its wings 200 times every second to stay in the air. And remember, in the last book we learned that the reason we hear the bzzz is because of how quickly their wings are flapping, and it tells us that in this fact. The buzzing sound you hear from a bee or a wasp is made when it flaps its wings. Living together. Solitary bees and wasps live alone. Other types of bees and wasps live together in groups called colonies. So not all bees and wasps live together. A colony of Asian dwarf honeybees lives in this nest. There are many honeybees in each colony. Most of the bees are workers. They're all female. The workers take care of the nest. A few of the bees are male. They have large eyes and are known as drones. So these are drones. The biggest bee is the queen bee. She's the mother of every bee in the colony. A queen bee makes smells to tell things to the bees in her nest. So she makes smells to let them know what she... Workers. The worker bees or wasps in a colony do lots of different jobs. Some workers take care of the queen. They feed and they clean her. These worker honeybees are cleaning the queen's body with their front legs. Workers mend holes in the nest. They make it bigger too. They keep the nest safe by guarding the entrance. If the nest gets hot, they fan in cool air with their wings. And when it's cold, they huddle together to warm up the nest. Wow, honeybees are very bright. We're not going to read about this because this is about wasps. Finding food. Bees and wasps spend a lot of their time looking for food. They visit flowers to drink a sweet juice called nectar. They also eat sap, a juice that oozes from broken branches. Bees eat pollen too. Pollen is a yellow powder made by flowers. This bumblebee is putting pollen onto its back legs to carry to its nests. Making seeds. this is the part that I really want you guys to listen to because we kind of talked a little bit about this in science. So this is going to kind of refresh what we learned. Many bees and some wasps help flowering plants to make seeds. Bees have to visit lots of flowers to find the food they need. Each time a bee lands on a flower, pollen sticks to the hairs on its body. So we see those little, you can see those little dots. Let me see if I can zoom in a little. We can kind of see these little yellow dots, and those little yellow dots are pollen. The bee flies to another flower of the same kind. Some pollen brushes off the bee. The pollen that brushes off helps the plant make seeds. These then grow into new plants. Some bees visit more than 2,000 flowers each day. Can you imagine 2,000 flowers? That's crazy. On guard. Bees and wasps protect themselves and the places where they live. Male wool carder bees chase away insects that come to the flowers that they feed on. So this bee's chasing away the butterfly. Honeybees make a ball around a hornet that enters their nest. So bees and wasps do not get along really. Sending messages. Bees and wasps tell each other things by moving their bodies and making smells. This buff-tailed bumblebee is feeding on lavender flowers. It leaves a smell on the flowers so other bees from its nest can find them. If a honeybee finds some flowers, it flies back to the nest to tell the other bees. The bees move in a pattern that shows the others where the flowers are. Then the other bees leave the nest and go to find the flowers too. When a wasp or a bee stings someone, it makes a smell. This warns the colony of danger. Honey makers. Worker honeybees make honey as food for their colony. Bees suck up nectar from flowers and turn it into honey in their tummies. So the honey that you eat actually comes from a bee's tummy. The bees carry the honey back to their nest and spit it into the little cells. Then other worker bees fan the honey with their wings, and this makes it thicker. Wasps can't make honey, but they do steal it from bees' nests. These bees are flying. People keep bees for their honey. They make boxes known as hives for honeybees to live in. These bees are flying back to a hive. Their nest is inside this hive. So whenever you eat honey, you're actually eating something that was made inside of a bee's tummy. New nests. Most colonies of bees and wasps die before winter, but the queen survives. A queen bumblebee goes to sleep in a hole in the ground for winter. In the spring, the queen wakes up and crawls out of her resting place. Then she starts to build a new nest. She lays eggs in pots she makes from wax. When a honeybee nest gets too crowded, the queen flies away. Some bees from her colony follow her in a group called a swarm. The swarm is looking for a place to build a new nest. And then we have a glossary. Remember, the glossary has the words in the book that you might not know. And then this one actually has a really cool little link where we could type in beginner bees. And then they have an index. And those are some of the features that you'll see in nonfiction text. Now remember, nonfiction text is giving us facts. So everything we just read about is true about bees and some of the stuff we learned about wasps. So I actually want to go to this link and see what we can find out. So I'm actually going to just switch us real fast. So that I can get a window. And we're going to go to www.usborne.com/ quick links. And then we are going to type in beginners bees. So then it has all of these things. It says you can watch a movie all about bees, find out why a bee is an insect, see how a honeybee sends messages to other bees, watch a speeded up video of a potter wasp building a nest from mud, see some bees and wasps that live alone, try a game to build a wasp colony and keep it safe, or print out a maze and help a bee find its way to a flower. So this has all those things, and Miss Shine will actually put this link up so that you guys can do some of these things if you want to, okay? All right, kindergartners, I hope you're learning more about bees. We'll see you tomorrow.